There are some things that the smartest football fans can do that the average fan would just have no clue is even possible.
Well, I figured out what separates these fans from everyone else, and it comes down to these 4 simple rules.
Most people, when they get the ball in a 2-minute scenario, even if it's just on NCAA, Madden, whatever, their first instinct is to try and take a deep shot, when in reality, you have so much more time than you think. So there's a formula that NFL coaches use to determine how many yards per play the team needs to get in order to be on pace to score in the allotted amount of time. So let's assume that if we stay in bounds and with the clock running and everything, it takes about 10 seconds to run a play. But with it being just over a minute left on the clock, we're only going to get about 6 plays. But then you get to add the number of timeouts to your play count. So we have all 3 left. That gives us 9 plays total. And if we got 70 yards to go, starting on our own 30-yard line, it means that Cooper Rush only needs 7.7 yards of play to make it to the end zone on schedule. So 7 or 8 yards of play, and that's very doable. So you can see in this first clip that the coaches are running routes that are designed to get open right at the yards needed per play. The curl at the top of the screen that looks like it's going to get 8 to 10 yards if he catches it. And then on top of that, CeeDee Lamb is running this route right at the first down markers, and he's able to catch this and turn a field. So right now they just got 2 plays in 1, so they're honestly ahead of schedule. And once again, coaches calling routes that are getting open at the desired yard marker. Hey, Cooper Rush lost his footing stepping up in the pocket, fell on his face. Now all of a sudden it's 3rd down. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter that much because on the play before he got so much yardage. So now they're back to even. They need 7 yards of play. And now the most devastating point of the whole drive, the quarterback takes a sack. There's a couple of things that will ruin your day so fast as an offensive player trying to score in a 2-minute scenario. Number 1 is sacks. Number 2 is flags. And number 3 is not getting out of bounds. If you can do those 3 things, there's a very real chance that as long as you stay on schedule, you're going to be able to score by the end of the drive.
So now it's 3rd and long, and the Cowboys are desperate to make something happen. So this ball is snapped, and immediately you can see that all 4 guys are pushing vertical down the field because the Cowboys coach knows that they have to get 15 yards of play on this. But apparently Cooper Rush doesn't. He throws a little check down to a mesh route. Now the clock's running. They have to burn another timeout. And now their bad situation got even worse.
Seemingly out of nowhere, it's 4th down, which we weren't even accounting for in our formula. And we have to make something happen. Cooper Rush wasn't able to get it done. Sails this ball over the head of his receiver. Wasn't even close, bro. Like, you got to give your guy a 50-50 chance if it's 4th down and the game is on the line. Like, you're better off throwing a pick in a 50-50 situation and you gave your guy a chance to catch it than just throwing it on the ground on 4th down, bro. Like, let your guy at least try and jump for it, bro. Maybe it'll be Stephon Diggs, Minneapolis Miracle, but you'll never know if you're just sailing the ball over your guy's head. Give your guy a chance, bro. But anyways, bro, Cooper Rush sold. Now Joe Burrow's taking a knee. That's the game for them.
And now for our second rule, how to read grass.
I honestly don't even tend to look at the safety structure or how many defensive linemen is or even the offensive formation. Those things are all helpful in their own respect, but this one key will help you to be able to read every single coverage regardless of what defense they're playing. So what we're going to do is we're going to read the grass. We're going to read the places where the players are not on the field. So boom, there's 2 high safeties right here, and in the middle of them, there's a lot of open grass that the quarterback could be able to potentially throw the ball. And then also I see a lot of grass in this top right corner of the field. If you were able to get past this corner and outside of this high safety, you could run a route that goes straight into this whole shot area of the field, and then it would be an easy touchdown, or at least pre-snap. We're seeing that there's a lot of open space. So boom, they motion the guy across. Now the ball snaps, and I'm looking at the lineman rushing up the field. The offensive line's doing a good job. And then when this ball's caught, look exactly where it was caught. It's in the same weak spot, the same open grass that we identified pre-snap. Does this tell us something? Is this just a coincidence? How about we just keep watching more plays from the same game to find? So let's take this play instead where the Buccaneers are on offense and they're going against the Commanders. So boom, pre-snap, pause the ball. Let's wait for this motion to happen. Boom, right before the ball snapped, where is the open grass on the field? I see a hole up here all the way at the top by the 40. There's a hole in the middle of the field in between this backer who looks like he's about to blitz. And then there's another hole over here by this other 40. So if I'm the quarterback and I'm dropping back, if there's any routes that are threatening any of those 3 places, I'm going to key heavy onto those. And I'm just going to look at my area on the field and say, hey, is it still open by the time that I know my receiver is going to get into that space? If so, I can deliver the ball. So let's watch this play and see where it ends up going. Baker Mayfield's in the back with the ball, and sure enough, we get a crosser coming into the middle of the field where it was open at the start, and we have this corner route who's right at the 40-yard line, a little bit above, who's going to have a chance to catch this ball. So let's see what happens. Ball's in the air. Really good throw, honestly. That could not have been a better place throw. But of course the defense is going to know that when they're playing cover 2, the stress to these areas where there's nobody physically standing on the field. That's what defenses are always talking about when they say you have to play to your leverage. You have to play to your other guys where there's help. But you also have to play over aggressive to the spots that you know are weak spots on the field. So good rep by the DB. All right, boom, another clip. Motion comes across. Commander's back on offense. So where are the weak spots on this field? I see something up here by the top. I see a lot of space in the middle of the field and short, shallow by this downside receiver. And where does the ball go? Sure enough, it goes right into the weak spot that we circled up. Because quarterbacks are saying pre-snap, can I complete this ball into this area? Yes or no? And if that's the case, take your drop. And if the defender can't beat you there and you can beat them with your timing that you have built with your receiver, then every single time you should be snapping the ball ready. So 1, 2, 3, shift, boom. And then leave it up to him to make a play, do something with it.
And now for rule number 3, understanding motions.
So why do teams motion? So teams are only going to motion for one of 3 reasons. 1 is to see if the defense is playing man or zone. They're going to do a read off of them. 2, to get the defense misaligned. So that way now they have to readjust who they're counting for, make a new play, make a new check. And then the 3rd reason is to get off of the press. Because if you have a corner and he's playing press man coverage, and then your receiver motions away, that corner, if he's playing man to man and he has to track him all the way across the field, he's not going to be able to get set in time to be able to press that guy again. So now instead of having to get open initially off of the line of scrimmage, you can just use motion to give him a free release. And that's kind of like a cheap way out. Some receivers are like, hey, I feel better off. Just let me go one-on-one on the guy, all one outside, and let me go boom on him, like Julio Jones. Julio Jones would do that. He would never motion. But in the 2025 version of the NFL, motioning is so common and it happens all the time. So you got to be ready for it. So let's look at this clip from the Seahawks and the Rams. You see number 11 motion across the field, and 39 is taking him out all the way wide. And now when he motions back, if the defender tracks him all the way across the field when he does his motion, that means that he is playing a man-to-man. If they were playing zone, you're just going to see them bump along, and none of the defenders will actually overlap each other when they do their positions because they still have to be close to their area of the field. Realize that he tracks him all the way back across. So now the offense is going to know, Geno Smith is going to know that everyone else is playing man-to-man. Now that's a little bit hard to figure out without the motion because you can see this corner at the bottom screen, number 24. He has his eyes at the quarterback, showing a really hard zone stance like he's playing a cover 2. Now this ends up being a screen, so it doesn't matter with the read progressions, but you can see him getting some crazy yards after the catch here. That's a crazy rep, bro. That's an insane rep. This motion from the most recent Super Bowl is a little bit different because instead of seeing the corner track him all the way across the field, you can see that he starts to get into his zone technique because he's staying relatively close to the spot where he started. But what this motion from the Eagles did was it manipulated the Chiefs' defense. So you can see that the Chiefs have 6 guys to account for 7 gaps in the offensive line. But as this motion comes and these 2 linebackers start to bump across the field, you can see that this gives the left tackle from the Philadelphia Eagles so much leverage to be able to reach this block and make it harder for him to be able to fill downhill and fit his gap. And the next thing you know, Saquon is 10 yards down the field with the ball, and they're getting first downs on first downs. This was an insane game. So there's so much that's going on during each and every single snap of a football game. From all the motions that we just talked about, to the safeties rotating and being able to read the different grass in different areas.
And now for our 4th and final rule, reading quarterback composure.
This will help you if you're just watching a broadcast game of football because after a certain point, you have no choice to look at the quarterback until he lets the ball go out of his hand. When you're looking at the quarterback, evaluate his body language. And I want you to see how he's looking and managing his read progression. So let's check out this rep from the same game with the Seahawks and the Rams. Geno Smith drops back after the play action, and he is still hitching and looking, trying to get this sail route from his receiver. Boom, see, he hitches, he takes another hitch, and he's still looking in the same place. Whereas if he were to reset and try and get back to his next guys in the progression, there's a chance that this curl route comes wide open and he's able to complete this for a first down. Look at the down and distance. Like, I see why he wants to complete this one because, hey, it's right there on the sticks. But at a certain point, you have to know when to give up and get to your next guy in the progression because your guy got clamped. And it wasn't even the receiver's fault necessarily, more so just because of the route that the offense ran versus the defense that was called and the leverages that they had. And then the nickel was strapping too. Whereas if we go back to the very first clip that we watched, you can see how smooth and confident he looks in the pocket delivering that ball. Instead of evaluating your quarterback based off of how many big plays he makes, try to evaluate your quarterback based off of how comfortable he looks in the pocket. Because the more comfortable that he is, that means that he understands his offensive coordinator's scheme better. And that means that he's more comfortable going through the reads. It means that on the plays where it's big down and distances and you need to be able to execute and get a couple of yards, the offensive coordinator and the quarterback are going to be on the same page, and they're trying to get the same guys open in the same opportunity. Amen. Thank you for watching. This video took me forever to record. You can probably see because it's dark in my room now. The sun was up. But hey, all glory to God, man. Be easy. Be easy, man.